good morning from Potter Marsh. It's another sunny day here in Anchorage, and I'm taking advantage of the day, and I'm going to explore today. So I'm actually going to do two things today, and just like I did the last couple of videos for you, today is going to be split into two videos. So today I'm going to go to the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center, but that's going to be tomorrow's video. The video that you're going to be watching right now is going to be exploring all of the scenic turnout spots on Turnagain Arm, because you can see all kinds of beautiful things, and there's so many turnout spots and opportunities to explore Turnagain Arm. So I want to stop at every single one of them and show you what you can see from there. So let me actually show you where I am right now. So I'm currently at a place called Potter Marsh, and this is on the southern side of Anchorage. So if you take that road, that direction, you will get to Anchorage. First of all, look at those mountains over there. Is that not like beautiful? So Potter Marsh is like a boardwalk, which is very nice because it's very accessible. And this arm kind of goes out this way, kind of a long way. But if you walk back to the parking lot, which is this way, you could also take this arm of the boardwalk, which goes back that direction. I have seen moose from here before. I don't know if we'll get to see one today, but I'm just gonna try to enjoy the sunshine, because what a beautiful, stunning day it is here in Anchorage. It's like 45 degrees, but it is sunny and so beautiful. Like, look at that. We're gonna go back that direction. Gosh, I'm so excited. Look at no clouds. It's amazing. In addition to some educational things, they also have benches and places to sit out here, which is nice. But sometimes when it's the correct season, you can actually see the salmon run from here. It's a little late in the season, so there are currently no salmon running or swimming. But that doesn't make it any less pretty. Oh, there's one, but he's not swimming. Aside from all of the road noise, because this is the Seward Highway, this is a really nice, peaceful walk, and it does get like quieter on the other side of the boardwalk. We'll head over there next. But now I'm out here all the way at the end. And it's just a nice, peaceful walk. And it's right here on the outside of Anchorage, so it's not a far drive, which is really nice. So back here at like the head of Potter Marsh, this is the parking lot right over here. They do have some restroom facilities, and then it looks like there's a walking path back this way. I'm gonna head back this way though, and we're gonna take the other side of the boardwalk, because that kind of heads back into the woods back this way, and that is where I've seen moose out here before. First up here is a little lookout spot to the right, and there's some birds out here in the water. I think they're like ducks. Here's another lookout point. And they do have these long distance viewing mechanisms, which is kind of cool. And some benches. It sure is awful pretty. And it goes even further back. There's one great big, almost amphitheater-like lookout point back here. No moose today, but we did get to see an eagle. But it is kind of warm for the moose right now, especially in the sun. So I can't imagine we get to see them out in the sun like this. It's kind of bright for me. I am not wearing a coat and I am perfectly comfortable, so I can't imagine how a moose would feel in this kind of weather. But to summarize Potter Marsh, this is a really good stop if you're, not looking to drive far out of Anchorage. You don't, have a car. You could just like Uber here. And you could have your Uber driver drop you off and pick you up. It's very accessible. It's good for kids. It's good for people, with strollers or wheelchairs or ACVs. They just ask that you don't take any food or drink out here. Be respectful. But it is really nice. And it's a good lookout point. And that trail from the parking lot that we saw leads right here. So we could take the boardwalk back. But I think I'm actually going to take the trail today. This trail is the only inaccessible part of Potter Marsh. And it's optional. So now we will get in the car and start driving down Seward Highway toward the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center, because that's as far as I'm going to go today. I'm just going to go to the AWCC because that to me is the terminus of Turnagain Arm. There are more scenic turnout spots past that, but that's as far as I'm gonna go. So, I can get the key out of my pocket. Now, we can get in the car and start driving. I'll see you at the next spot. All right, turnout point number 1. This here is still Potter Marsh, and it's like right on the side of the highway, so it's really noisy, but I can see how this could be really pretty because there are like birds, not here, but just about that, like over there behind that clump of grass. I saw them as I was pulling in. So I can see how this would be kind of scenic. You might get to see some really cool wildlife, especially if you like looking for birds. So this is kind of pretty. It's noisy. But this is pullout number 1 past Potter Marsh. And let me zoom in. So there's Potter Marsh that way. You can still see it. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's get back on the road. Okay, pullout number 2 is just a little ways down from the other one, which is over that way. By the way, that is Mount Susitna, or Sleeping Lady, because from the sky, she looks like a lady sleeping. But this is still Potter Marsh, so it's not far. This is the Anchorage Coastal Wildlife Refuge. So once again, I mean, it's kind of noisy because it's right there by the highway. But I imagine you would get to see, maybe not all the time, but sometimes I imagine you would get to see some wildlife out here, like especially birds. Because I have driven down or ridden down Turnagain Arm multiple times, and every time we've driven back past here, I know for sure I've seen like at least one bird. But don't walk your dog here between April 1st and November 15th. I don't know why, that's really funny to me. Okay, full disclosure, I did miss one tiny little pull-out spot. It was like, I don't know, 100 feet down, 100 yards down from the last one I stopped at, so the perspective was not majorly different. But now I am what is called South Potter Marsh. I've actually never stopped here before. There's a bunch of like USPS mailboxes here. They've also got some restrooms here, and some parking. No camping. But this is the Coastal Wildlife Refuge. And here's the sign here. So the highway is right there, still noisy, but we can walk this way just a little bit. And we get a totally different perspective of the wildlife refuge. And aren't these fall colors of the trees really pretty? Everything has yellow. It's so pretty. All right, so this was stop number 3. So let's hit the road and find stop number 4. Okay, for this next pull-out spot, I came in the wrong direction. Don't do what I did. I made a mistake. I thought that I had already passed it, and I had, but then there was another way to get in, and so I ended up pulling in when I shouldn't have, but it's fine. So, there's a train here, and I'm hoping there's a sign up here that will tell me the significance of this train. There are also restrooms here, so that's kind of nice. So welcome to Chugach State Park. Welcome to Turnagain Arm. Oh, here we go. Okay. You are here. Potter Creek Trailhead is just a little ways down. There's also McHugh Creek, Beluga Point, the Rainbow Trailhead, Windy Corner Trailhead, Falls Creek Trailhead, Indian Creek Trailhead, Bird Ridge Trailhead, Bird Creek Campground, Bird Valley Trailhead, Bird Point. There is a lot on Seward Highway because this doesn't even go all the way to the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center, and this also is not exactly including all of the turnout points. So there's a lot. Nothing on the train car though. This thing is massive, by the way. Oh wait, what's this? Okay, I can't make out this part, but it is a Rotary snowplow, which obviously we could tell from the front of it. You know who would love this? My dad. My dad would love this. So this is the outfit car. All right, I want to see where this boardwalk goes. Just out of curiosity. Okay, kind of neat. So this is like the entrance to Turnagain Arm right over here. The arm goes down that way. And this here is what they call mud flats. So while quicksand is not a thing that we all deal with on a daily basis, this silt kind of functions like quicksand. So it looks like you could walk on it. And people and animals have made the mistake of believing they could walk across this. And you kind of can't because it works sort of like a suction cup. And so it just kind of sucks you in. And then if you get stuck and no one comes and can get you out, Then when the boar tide comes in, which is like a wall of water, when the boar tide comes in, something really tragic and unfortunate happens. And I don't know what mountain that is over there. It's clearly very far away, but it's also very pretty on a day like today. Gosh, this is just stunning. So if we're lucky, if there are belugas in the arm, we might be able to see them, because it looks like there are not a lot of whitecaps in the arm today, which is nice. But I think this is all there is to see here, so I'm actually going to get back in the car and head on to our next lookout point. Honestly, I'm losing count, and I'm not even going to try to keep track of the number of them, but I'm at the next turnout spot. We are right here on the highway. Of course, it's noisy, but we've got a great view of Turnagain Arm from here. And the sun on the water is just so pretty. There is a fence installed for safety. But something I want to mention is that as you're driving down Turnagain Arm, keep an eye on the mountain, because as you're driving down, you want to look out for whales, but you also want to look up for Dall sheep or bears or potentially moose. You might see, that. I have seen bears and moose on Turnagain Arm before, but Dall sheep also. Mountain goats, Dall sheep, etc. I also should mention that there are lots of little one car pullouts that are kind of like emergency stops, essentially. I'm not going to be stopping at every single one of those, but big ones like this for multiple cars, I will pull out at and show you. All right, on to the next. All right, our next stopping point, we've still got a great view of that mountain over there. This here is the arm, and it goes back that way. So the stopping place we are at right now is called McHugh Creek, and this is actually a trailhead. The trail begins up there. It looks like the gate is still closed. And this is a place where you have to pay the fee to park. So there is a fee station right over there. You can pay with card, but if you're going to be here for a while, then you should definitely pay that fee to park here. So it looks like the Rabbit and McHugh Lakes Trail is 6.4 miles out. It's a one-way trail. If you're going to take it two ways, like out and back, it's going to be 12.8 miles. But even without taking the trail, you get a good view of a waterfall. We can walk over this way and get a better view. Here's a better look at that fee station. It's $5 per vehicle per day. You can use card. You just need to know your license plate number on your vehicle. But here's a better view of that waterfall. I'm gonna head back to the car because I did not pay the fee, so I don't want to be here too long. But also, if I take 10 minutes at every pull-out point, I will not be home before dinner time, so. Not that I'm in a hurry, but I just know that we've got a lot of stops to look at today. And I also don't want this video to be 6 hours long. I am now at Beluga Point. And so this is like a full pull off away from the highway, which is over that way. And since it's kind of set off the highway, we have a better view looking up the mountain. I don't see anything up there. But also, we've got a better view of Turnagain Arm. And this here is the railroad track. So if you end up taking the Alaska Railroad to like Seward or even just Girdwood, this is where the train will take you. It's down this way. They tell you that you're not supposed to like cross or trespass onto the property. People do it. I've done it. There's people over there walking on it. It's dangerous, but be smart. Don't vandalize. Yeah, you know what I mean. So there's actually not a whole lot here other than these like special long distance viewing mechanisms. But you do get a really good view of the entrance of Turnagain Arm, and then down the arm a ways too. All right, on to the next. We are at the next scenic pullout. We've got a great view of the mountains back that way. Wow. Those are pretty. I haven't seen any wildlife yet. No whales. The train tracks are just down this way again, or still. And looks like an old cash register. And then we've got a good view up the mountain here, but I don't see any wildlife up that way either. This pullout is kind of a longer one, so you can see there's plenty of space here, but everybody's kind of parallel parked. We're not parked, you know, like you would park in a parking lot. Not perpendicularly parked. It's kind of narrow, kind of like a narrow drive-through sort of situation, but still very pretty. All right, the next one is almost exactly the same thing, kind of narrow, but we're a little bit further down the road. There's no cash register. We've got a better view of down the arm this way, and the view up the mountain is still not giving me much of anything to work with wildlife-wise, but that's okay. It's A beautiful sunny day, which is good for human beings, but the Alaska wildlife, not that they don't like the sun, but it might just be a little warm for them today. So we might not get to see much wildlife today, just driving down the arm. We could get lucky, who knows? All right, we are at our next pullout point. And this one is not exactly right on the arm, it's across the highway. So the arm is over there, the highway's between us and that point. This is a creek access point. I have wanted to stop here for a long time, and so I'm finally doing it today. They do have restrooms here, and it is a fee station place. The fee station is down that way. So you do have to pay to park here. It is $5. If you pay like at McHugh Creek, you can use the same parking pass for this also. It's a day use pass. But I think if I follow this path, I think I can make it all the way down to the creek, or like I can see the creek. And I would love to get a picture of the creek because I've driven by it, but I've never stopped to look at it. So I'm excited. I'm having a really good time. Mom is texting me. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I did bring lunch with me. Oh, we're gonna learn about harbor seals. Hold on. Harbor seals have a unique adaptation that helps them locate prey in the dark. Huh. That's really cool. This is a really good tip if you are going to be hiking. I'm not really going on a serious hike. So we'll just walk down this way a bit. You know what? I'm curious what I can see from here. Oh, there's the creek. All right, so I am not actually gonna go down to the creek, but you can if you want to. I'm not gonna do it, but I am just gonna take a peek from over here. It's so pretty. But I came over to this side just because I wanted to see what they were talking about. They're talking about the trees and the train tracks, which is kind of cool. But this is just so pretty. Gosh, I'm so glad I stopped here. All right, I'm heading back to the car. One last look. Gosh, it's so pretty. All right, we are now at Bird Point. This is another pay to park situation, same fee station setup. I've actually been here before and I love it here. It's got a great view. So they do have stairs, but also for accessibility, they have a ramp, and we'll take the ramp. And then also, before we leave, I will show you the belugas up close. Those are concrete, not real belugas. It's in the parking lot, it's fine. So the staircase would bring you right up here, and then the rest of it is a ramp. It's I won't call it steep, but it is kind of on an incline, so there is like a switchback. But since we're up a little higher, we have a little bit of a better perspective from here. All right, so earlier when I was talking about mud flats, so it's not quite quicksand, but it is more like quick silt. Oh, and here's the boar tide. So here is the arm from this little lookout point. And we can go a little bit further up and a little bit further out. So this obviously stairs, not like always friendly with everyone. However, if you can take stairs, this view is almost unbeatable. Let's go up this way, just really quick. So the parking lot's actually really large. They've got a couple of picnic tables, restrooms, and then over here, since you can actually see beluga whales sometimes in Turnagain Arm, this is a perfect depiction of what you should be looking for. Beluga whales are not probably going to leap out of the water and fully breach. They look more like this if their whole head comes up, or more likely like this. They just look like white bumps. And so it's a lot easier to see beluga whales when the water is calm and there are no whitecaps, because the thing about belugas is that they don't come all the way out of the water, so they can be kind of tricky to see, and the whitecaps camouflage them really well. So also sometimes I think the younger ones are not completely white, so those are really difficult to see, which is good for them because it's good camouflage and keeps them safe. But if you're trying to look for belugas, it can make it a little trickier. But I think that this is a really good depiction of what to look for when you're looking for beluga whales. Okay, the next scenic lookout point is almost immediately following Bird Point, which is right there. So they do have some information about beluga whales. but still I don't see any out here. If I see some, I will be sure to let you know, and I'll do my best to show you. I did see belugas here just last week though, so if you are interested in seeing beluga whales, I will link a video that has some beluga whales from almost this exact point. It might have been a little bit further toward Girdwood, but you know, beluga whales right in here just about a week ago. Turnagain Arm was formed by a glacier. And of course that Good Friday earthquake had some significant impacts on it. Well, this is new information to me. The Crow Creek Boys. Interesting. Quarrelsome stampeders. So between Bird Creek, between Bird Point where we were and where we are now, the train actually switches sides. So the train tracks are now on that side of the highway. So now the highway is closer to the arm than the train. This next lookout point is just about a minute down the road from the last one, so not far. So in the situation where there are belugas in the arm and you pull somewhere and one of them is full, just drive a little ways down the road because there are plenty of places to pull off. Or also if you miss a place and you still want to pull over and take a picture or some video, there's another place just a little ways down. And that's kind of what I want to prove to you with this video, is that there are so many places on Turnagain Arm to pull off and take pictures. And all of them are so pretty, but some of them give you a slightly different perspective of Turnagain Arm, which is kind of cool. Two more minutes down the road, we are at another pull-out spot. And this one says you can learn why the water is so gray at this spot. I actually think this is where I pulled out and saw the beluga whales last week. I think it was here. And they were further down toward Girdwood, back that way. More about the boar tide. And I think that back there in that valley, I think that's a glacier. Don't ask me which one, because I don't know. 2 more minutes down the road, we are at yet another little pullout. We are slowly creeping closer and closer and closer to Girdwood, which is just going to be right over there. Actually, I think if I come over here, you might be able to see the gas station. So that is the entrance to Girdwood. There's not a ton different from this perspective, other than that glacier over there is, you know, easier to see. But I think now we're gonna head back to the car and see what's at the next stop. Two more minutes down the road, same song, different verse. We are at yet another pullout point, just a couple minutes closer to Girdwood. So Alyeska, the resort, is back that way. And we've got a new perspective of the mountains back here. Those are kind of pretty. It's a little less windy here than it was at the last spot, so we must be tucked back a little bit. So V shapes are carved by streams and U shapes are carved by glaciers. And I think this may be one of the best examples, because the one on the right looks like a U and the one on the left looks like a V. Okay, so this is a fun fact that I did not know. The glacier moves fastest where the ice is thickest, which is in the center of the valley. We are now past Girdwood, so that last lookout point was the last one before Girdwood, and this one is actually quite a ways past it. But look at this view of these mountains. Oh my goodness, so pretty. And that is a glacier right there. And then of course we are just now entering the Chugach National Forest, because we're going this way. So if we were driving that way, they would say we were leaving. Since we're not leaving, we're entering. But there's been some road work that we've driven through. Some people are driving like they're in a big hurry. I'm clearly not in a hurry because I've spent basically all day doing this. But I am going to go ahead and hop back in the car and see if there's another one before the Wildlife Conservation Center. We are getting closer and closer to the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center, which is like this low place over here. Don't ask me how I know that. I've just been there a bunch and I love that place. But the highway is over there, so thank goodness we're separated from it just a little bit, which helps a teeny bit with the road noise. Girdwood is back that way. We've got a good perspective of these mountains over here. Isn't that cool? It really is such a pretty day. Gosh, I got so lucky with the weather today. Could I do this theoretically with like rainy weather? Yes, but I probably wouldn't have. So I'm glad that it's nice. And I am so excited about the conservation center because I love it so much. All right, into the car, on to the next. One more stop. I don't know if there's another one between here and the conservation center, but I guess we will find out. So from here, I guess I'll orient you a little bit. Girdwood is that way. We've not seen these mountains back here before because we didn't have this perspective because of these mountains here. And then if we kind of turn this way, that there is a glacier. I don't know which one. That there is a different glacier. Again, I don't know which one. So I am even more convinced that each one of these lookout points has a completely different perspective. Because even this view is different. So just slightly down the road, actually at the exact turnoff for the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center, is the Portage Creek Trailhead, which is where I'm parked right now. This is day use only, but this, on this side of that, or on the other side of the fence, is the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center. So we have made it to our destination for the next video. So with that being said, I'm actually going to end this video here. I had so much fun, minus the wind. The wind is driving me crazy. But I had so much fun today stopping at all of these scenic places, because most of the time when I'm driving down Turnagain Arm, or when I'm riding with someone else who's driving me down Turnagain Arm, it's not that we're in a hurry, but like, we left at a certain time to make it to a certain destination at a certain time. And I have never taken a day to just drive down Turnagain Arm and stop at every scenic place that I want to stop at. Now that I've stopped at almost all of them, I won't say that I've stopped at every single one of them, because I know there were a couple. There's 20 Mile River that I drove right past because it was full. There are a bunch of cars backed up to it. I'm guessing people are fishing. So I didn't stop at every single one of them, but I stopped at like most of them, and I had a really wonderful time because it's so pretty. I want to put my hair up before I do this Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center. But if you are interested in the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center, please stay tuned for the next video. But with that being said, thank you for hanging out with me today. You guys will see me in another video really soon. Bye!